a former commissioner in Delta State between 2003 and 2007, is a media columnist and democracy advocate, as well as an author of the book Leading from the Streets, Media Interventions by a Public Intellectual, 1999 to 2019. The book is a compilation of compelling articles written and published in the mass media by the author between 1999 to 2019, spanning the entire range of Nigeria's socio-economic and political life. Welcome to the studio, Mr. Magnus, in a bit.
Of course, we'll be talking to Mr. Magnus in a bit, and it's a discussion that we'd like to have. He's talking about media, and of course, one of the things that also need to happen is the fact that how do we need to have the conversation about Nigeria's social, economic, and political life. It's very, very important, most especially at this time when Nigeria is still trying to test the waters in terms of economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and some other things that, of course, we are having in our political life. What do you think?
Well, I think quite a lot, should I say, has been written sometimes about and some of these socio-economic matters. But most importantly, what we still lack in Nigeria as a country is implementation of many of these things, of these lofty ideas. You know, you have lots of we have abundance human resource people that we can tap into and make use of. But then here we find ourselves. And joining us is Mr. Magnus to tell us more about this book, Leading from the Street, and media intervention. So what prompted you to write this book, especially on that topic?
Yes, thank you for having me. As you are aware, our country is going through a lot of reforms right now, necessary reforms, although it's coming with pains, but it's something that have to be done. And it would appear that our people are also so despondent, and they are at sea about how to deal with the issues that are cropping up. And they are solely relying on government to provide solutions. And that's where Leading from the Streets comes in. We're saying that, yes, government will lead, it has the responsibility, but all of us as individuals, collectively or as individuals, we are leaders in our own rights. At anywhere you exert influence over one or two or three people, you are a leader. And so you should look at the whole environment and see how you can find your own solution in your little space to be able to overcome the hardship that we're going through right now. And that when people take charge in their small spaces all over, as mechanics, as bricklayers, as drivers, artisans generally, or professionals as accountants, nurses, and doctors, whatever we're doing in our small spaces, when you aggregate everything, it will bring about the change that we need. And this is not the first time this is happening. If you remember, J.F. Kennedy is the 35th president of the United States of America. When the country was going through recession and there were a lot of challenges, he was the one who came about, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So in that same spirit, we're saying that Nigerians should wake up and try to, on top of what government is trying to do, we can see the fruits of the reforms right now. When some of us were talking about the reforms, we're saying that it's in the right direction. People were saying there are too many hardships. We want to remain in our comfort zone. If you don't do something drastic and radical, you will continue to just move the cheese bit by bit. But you can see the changes that have been made now. It's clear that, things would happen. And if we consolidate this in another 1 year, there'll be a big difference from where we were to where we're going to be.
Talking about comfort zone, Nigerians really don't like to hear that word. Why? Because they believe that every leader who wants to come to power has his teeth and dots cut out for himself. It's not something that we are used to. But in this scenario, you are saying that all of us should put our heads together in your own sphere of life. You should be able to. But how important, and now I'm going to come to, how important do you think that NOA is very crucial to this particular point you just made, you know, in trying to make sure that, you know, everybody's aware that only governments cannot do it, looking at the book that you just read?
Yes, that's actually where the challenge is. Government is not doing enough in that direction. They've not enlightened the people enough about their rights. The impression that we have generally is that everything is about government, especially in this country. You know, if the budget hasn't come out, the country comes to a standstill. To say, oh, we're waiting for budget. This one will not give contract. This one will not do this. This one will not do that. You know, but we're saying that, look, individually, we can collectively do stuff that will make a difference. And part of what we're doing in this public presentation of this book, we're recognizing some of these people that have made a difference. You know, we're giving reward and award to 6 people, for instance. Professor Wole Soyinka is going to be the keynote speaker, for instance. If you recall, 1966-67, he prevailed on the federal government not to go to war against Biafra because he thought there was going to be dire consequences. The federal government at that time did not like that, and they thought he was colluding with the Biafran government. They jailed him for 22 months. So when the guns were firing, he was in jail. 1970, by the time the war was over, we had lost over 1 million people. So he was right. But he is a leader from the street, and he has continued to lead from the street. Take somebody else, the Air Peace man. He had been there for us in bad times. Sudan, South Africa, Ukraine, he went to rescue Nigerians. And he has seen that, you know, foreign airlines, British Airways, for instance, is flying the most lucrative route and taking all the money. And he wants to come to the rescue of Nigerians. And he has crashed the price. And they're doing price war with him. That's somebody leading from the streets. That he's not from the corridors of power. You know, so that's what I'm saying, that we should not all wait for the president, the Senate president, or minister to lead. We will lead. Those people will smoothen the environment for us to lead better. Thank
you very much, Mr. Magnus. I wish we had more time to talk about this. But, of course, I'm going to be at this book launch.
You just have to. A lot of people are coming. The vice president is the special guest of honor. The Senate president is coming with a bunch of senators. And there'll be a breakdown of how we are benefiting from President Tinubu's reforms. Somebody like Bismarck Rewani is going to talk about how it's affecting your price of tomato and pepper in the market.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, that will be a very good one on how this book is going to benefit Nigerians. Okay, now let's take a beat of sport news.